Yeah. All right, streamers, welcome to the show. You guys know the drill. We're no longer live out of the Boss Hog Radio Network. Brett just muted his mic because he forgot that we're not going live yet. So your mic should be unmuted, guys, for the first 6 minutes. And unless you want to listen to me talk with myself. So, and I don't make me work that hard. So, but
it's
anyhow,
all very confusing to the talent.
in 6 minutes, we'll be starting the radio portion of the show, guys. But thanks for logging in to check us out. So, while we're at it, I'm just going to check. Brett, your mic setup is just awesome. And let me check the Chiefs. The Chiefs is too. You guys are jamming. Chief, I think they got that issue fixed with the virtual background thing. I think that's fixed. I'm not getting the warnings on that anymore. So
okay, so this okay.
Just FYI. Yes, sir. Yep.
I can knock down that green screen in 2
I didn't know if that was a green screen or not. So that's why I mentioned it. So, but they apparently have got that thing fixed. So,
and Brett, I'm really glad to see you. Glad to be on with you. But I really thought this was going to be me and Chip today. I know he panics. He panics every time it's just me. You probably got a phone call at 5 o'clock this morning saying, please, please.
I tell you, Joe, I'm so tired of it. I said, Chip, stop it. Just stop it.
Wow.
Just stop it.
That hurts. That hurts.
Well, I thank goodness I had time to get pants on.
Just that's superfluous.
Yeah. Just in case my camera slips. I don't want to. I know we can't say certain words, but there's certain things we can't do too, right, Chip?
There was nothing in the bulletin.
There are certainly things you can't do. I know where your mind is. Yeah, you can't do that thing.
Oh, that's pretty hurtful.
Dude, if you break out a thing of lotion and put it on the desk next to you, dude, I'm killing your camera.
Well, I have an issue. I have a problem. As I'm patting my chest, you can't see it.
Mm-hmm. Drinking my
first time I went to the heart doctor, he came out with a worried look with an X-ray in his hand, and he said, "Are you a police captain by chance?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he says, "We can't find a heart, and there's very little backbone." So I said, "Hey, I got people." Never needed all that stuff.
Well, mine shows up on an X-ray pretty well because it's stone.
There you go. There you go.
So do you guys want to take anything out of order? I'll go in order unless you guys want to take something out of order. The first video has got the HCSO deputy that's being robbed on duty. He's working undercover. That's kind of scary. Brings back flashbacks to our buddy Jose Feliciano.
That's why I never wanted to do that crap. Never wanted to do it. I did street level hose, but I never did a lot of street level dope just for that reason, because it can turn so bad so fast.
Oh,
how much money can you make at that, Brett?
Well, not as much as I used to. I had to retire my dancer name because I just couldn't do it anymore. So, but thanks for bringing up a hurtful portion of my life that I'm just now in therapy. But thanks.
Well, you're really tender today. That was 3 hurts, like one more, and maybe I will do this show.
Well, I cry a lot now, so
yeah,
I cry a lot.
Low T, it happens to all.
I just noticed my wife moved the Leo Roundtable mug. So she must not have liked it on my desk, so it's gone.
I'm hurt over that too, Chip. So that's 4, Joel.
Gotta get on her case about that.
I'm gonna put on my chaplain hat and walk you through this show today.
Please do. I'm gonna step away from the booze. He's reaching for him. Oh
no. I'm trying to get the right balance. I wanted to show off my Aelita shirt, but it doesn't quite show.
Aelita. I used to belong to that. Pretty sure. Aelita.
Did you?
Yeah,
I presented a couple of years ago and got the juicy slot at Saturday morning, the last day. And
oh, nice.
Yeah. I
don't think I've ever been to the conference, but I was a member years and years ago. I'm still a member of, what's the firearm? Oh, it just left my head. Oh, hecky doodle. I'll think of it later.
The one that we joined at SHOT Show?
No,
the IF.
It's firearms instructors. Oh, this is terrible. I'm gonna have to look it up now. That's 5. I'm hurting.
How about the gunlearn.com, the International Association of no, never mind.
Don't try to suggest, okay? Just don't try to suggest.
He's only got enough room in his brain for one of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or less than a minute out, guys, from starting the radio portion of the show. And guys that are listening to the stream, we have a good lineup for you guys today. So you guys can enjoy us. And we're doing a Galls gift card giveaway today, a free $50 Galls gift card giveaway. So if you're listening to the show, especially if you're on Facebook, we love our Facebook users, and we got a lot of you guys. So please make sure you enter the contest. Now, in order to enter this contest, it's a digital card. That means that I can email it to you immediately after the show if you win. All you have to do is type in the word Galls, that's GALLS, in order to enter the contest, and give us your email address. I can't send it to you without an email address. Remember, it's a digital card. So Galls and your email address, you'll be automatically entered in. And we'd like to get the announcement on the third commercial break. So you people watching the show, Kyle and everybody else, as long as you haven't won in the last 60 days, please enter. We got MBS too. We're going radio, guys. We're less than 10 seconds out. I'm starting the music. Here we go.
ILFE.com. That's my.
All right, guys, and welcome to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host, and we're a group of law enforcement professionals that talk about today's news and issues, but we do it from a law enforcement perspective. And I'm going to introduce the crew. Guys, if you don't mind waiting for the video portion of our show, Chief Joel Schultz. He is also at schultzco@gmail.com, such as last name Schultz, SHULTSCO @gmail.com. Yeah, we're going to be talking about some of his books today, so I can't wait to see what he's got within hand's reach a little bit later. Also, Captain Brett Bartlett, retired with 32 years of exemplary law enforcement experience from the Tampa Police Department. He's also the founder of Exumbra Defense Solutions at exumbradefense.com. I got to ask him sometime today how he came up with the name for that. That's going to be interesting. We'll do that live. Also, a shout out to our sponsors, Galls.com, our title sponsor, CompliantTechnologies.com, our satellite sponsor, AeroPrecisionUSA.com, Scott's company. They are our arms sponsor. We have Gunlearn.com on Medicare.live, Safeguard Recruiting, our streaming sponsor. Thanks to them, we're streaming over 1 million followers right now during the live show on social media. TwoBells.com. They built a new online store at LeoRoundtable.com. Go to the website, LeoRoundtable.com. That's our website, but we have an online store. You get cool gear like the shirt that I'm wearing. We have hats and mugs and like the coffee mug behind me, and we've got everything, and we don't charge anything extra. So rock bottom prices. You pay the exact same thing that I pay. We're just trying to get our stuff out there. We don't make a dime. Also, a shout out to Brian Burns for the Tampa Free Press at TampaFP.com. Thanks for carrying our content, Brian. Also, Ray Dietrich of formerlawman.com and our very own Travis Yates with lawofficer.com. Thanks to all those entities and people for helping make the show happen. And now here's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. Illegal alien released by Joe Biden shoots an off-duty Border Patrol agent in the face. You guys may have already heard about this. It's a horrible story. At least our agent was able to return fire and put 3 in the bad guy. Then we got Dallas Apple stores kept losing product. Now they're accusing a police officer in the thefts, according to an affidavit. Then we've got a video showing a teen rob a detective at gunpoint during an undercover operation. Kind of scary, brings back some memories for us. Dash cam shows a New Mexico State trooper fatally shooting Jesus Rubio during a traffic stop. We've got Colorado Springs Police. They released a video of a deadly shooting of an armed guy in the downtown area. And then finally, Amherst Police released a video of an incident where an officer ended up being stabbed and the suspect was shot. We got some scary stuff. If we have time to get to it, we have also Fort Lauderdale Police body cam of an officer fatally shooting a suspect armed with an airsoft gun. Of course, we have no way to tell. So that's the lineup so far. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and jump into the very first one and see what we got. RVMnews.com, which stands for Red Voice Media. Illegal alien released by Joe Biden shoots an off-duty Border Patrol agent in the face. The video, it's from a distance. It's not real clear, but if you know what happened, it all makes sense. An off-duty, and I remember I'm saying an off-duty U.S. Border Patrol agent, he ended up being shot in the face. But listen where he's at. He's in New York City. It's an attempted armed robbery by a moped-riding illegal alien in a New York City state park. And this happened on Saturday night, according to law enforcement sources. And I said state park. It's a New York City park. The federal agent, despite his injuries, he was able to return fire, and he wounded the assailant, who is now in custody. That's because he went to the hospital. The incident occurred around 11:50 in the evening. It's Fort Washington Park, located along the Hudson River, Manhattan. The 42-year-old agent, who they're not identifying, was sitting on a rock with a female companion when 2 guys roll up on the moped and they want to rob him. and there's a struggle, and one of the suspects open fires. He hits the agent in the face and in the left forearm. Despite being seriously wounded, the agent draws his firearm, returns fire, and he hits one of the assailants multiple times, 3 times. The suspect, later identified as 21-year-old Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez, 3 gunshot wounds, had to go to the hospital in the Bronx to get treatment, and that's where they took the sucker into custody. The second suspect, at least at this article, says he was still at large. The Department of Homeland Security's Kristi Noem confirmed that Mora, our bad guy, is a Dominican national. He entered the U.S. illegally through the southern border in April of 2023. Gee, who was in charge back then, Brett? And he was reportedly released from custody at the time due to insufficient detention space. And they just gave him a notice to appear because, they'll always appear in front of an immigration judge right if they get notice to appear, right? So Mora has a lengthy criminal record in the United States. Is that a shock to anybody? So he comes over illegally. We don't hold him and detain him, and now we let him running around. And so it goes on to say that in New York City, he's been arrested at least 4 times, and he was released without bail on each of those occasions. Get that. And keep listening. This is going to start to ding, ding, ding. Hopefully some of the Democrats that maybe if any listen to the show, the light bulbs will start to go off. In August of 2024, so last year, Moore was arrested twice within days, once for allegedly assaulting a pregnant woman, and then again for threatening another illegal immigrant. He was going to kill him with a machete. And then in November of 2024, he was arrested for violating an order of protection, and a bench warrant was issued for his arrest in January of 2025. And despite all this pattern of criminal activity, he was not detained by immigration authorities or held in custody by local officials. And sources say that his prior arrest in New York resulted in his release under the city's bail reform policies. It's just crazy. The injured federal agent currently, at the time they wrote the article, was undergoing surgery, what was in stable condition, according to the Department of Homeland Security. And so that's what we have, guys. This is the plight that we're in, and Trump and our brothers and sisters, law enforcement, have to clean up the mess. What do you think, Captain Brett?
Going back to when he came across the border, here's what I've never understood. Maybe somebody can explain it. Once they catch these people who cross the border, why didn't they put them in a big bus, drive back to the fence at the border, open the fence, and go get out, get on the other side of the fence, and then close the fence behind them? I don't understand why they just take them and then let them go. Send them back across the fence. If you have 2 big gates, even faster. But why didn't they gather them up, take them to the border, and shove them back into Mexico? I don't get it. Well, except I do get it, because the more people they bring in the United States, the more that will vote in the Democratic side, because you don't have to have ID for that. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, you're going to have people on the other side screaming, due process. They're illegal aliens, but they call them, I know, they don't call it by the name illegal aliens, right? They'll call them migrants, right?
Well, Chip, if I caught somebody in my house and they're not supposed to be in my house, would I say, listen, here's a piece of paper, sit down, let me get you some medical and some food, but I guess you can stay. I would kick them out of my house.
Dude,
I would shove them out the front door.
Obviously, it's not protocol. I don't know why. I would love to be able to do that. I don't know what the ramifications legally would be for doing that. I would think that, once they get on your home soil, I don't know what inalienable right they're granted all of a sudden, where they have to have due process in a court and before you can get rid of them. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But maybe if we just had a doctor on the show that could make sense of all. Oh, we have Dr. Joel Schultz on the show. Maybe he can make sense of this for us.
Well, as Gomer Pyle said, Brett, you're just hateful.
I
will say we do need to be careful about taking these examples. It's kind of like, whenever a cop is bad, we say, well, there's one bad cop. It doesn't reflect on all cops. And so we need to be careful about saying that, this guy is, represents the other however many 12 or 15 million that came across during the Biden era. However, he's absolutely an example of the crisis in the immigration situation that's happened over the last many years, really, and across multiple administrations. But one thing, probably an answer to your question, Brett, why don't they ship them off? Well, they got the app because they all seem to have operating cell phones pretty well. And they asked for asylum. And so, they're caught up in this cycle of, oh yeah, we're going to wait and see if you're being persecuted back home. And I hope we get back to the point where we can take legitimate asylum claims and process those in an orderly manner. But right now we're just trying to build a dam to stop the flood. And to say how emblematic this is of the problem, as you cited, his criminal history here, and outstanding warrants. I read another article that said, as kind of an addendum to this, that in 48 shelters in New York City, there are 3,219 migrants and 4,884 arrests. So those are arrests. Those are known crimes where an arrest was made. So 100 and something percent. Obviously, multiple offenders in there, but it's problematic. And a lot of crimes that don't get reported are crimes against other immigrants. And so if we're looking at humanitarianism, who's really being victimized out there besides citizens who have a clear right to be here? The other thing I would say about that event, and I guess they just have cameras all over the places, more and more just happen to get this on camera. But the accomplice that was riding a moped, and it's just, this is not a funny incident, but it's funny that the getaway car is a moped. But the other guy on the scooter, you notice the way if you look at the video, he parks in, points at the victim. He's not poised for a getaway. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if murder was on the mind of this attacker, because there was no preparation for getting away from the scene. So it's a horrific thing. Glad our officer got a couple of shots off. And hopefully you'll be all right and be able to return to duty. That's doubtful, but I hope so.
See, I told you the doctor would clear it up for us, Brett. There you go. All right. We appreciate it, Dr. Schultz.
And yet no call from the White House, none.
Yeah. And Dr. Schultz, quit confusing the issue with facts.
Yeah. Oh, am I on the wrong podcast?
Hey, radio show. Just remember, every time I hear the word podcast, I think of these 15-year-old kids running podcasts out of mom and dad's basement, right? So, but
I think of Stephen Colbert. He's got the best.
Okay. All right. So anyhow, look, thanks guys for shedding light on this. And hey, the people that watch the show, we want you to be among the smartest people in the room when it comes to the news. Of course, we give it from a law enforcement perspective, but we make no apologies for that. We're still covering it providing you guys, or trying to provide you guys with expert commentary. Hey, we're coming up on our first commercial break, guys. So stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, guys, it's time to talk about our title sponsor, Galls at Galls.com. As police officers, we love to buy gear. And when you throw the online option, it's almost limitless. But here's what's really important I want to remind everybody about. It's supporting the companies that actually support law enforcement. And I don't know if a company does it better than Galls at Galls.com. Even their motto is proud to serve those who serve, which, of course, they do in spectacular fashion. And not only that, they walk the talk by supporting dozens of focused organizations like this radio show. So when you're looking for gear, please support our title sponsor by going to Galls at Galls.com, and they're going to do you one better. For the loyal listeners of the show, they've got a code. All you have to do is type in radio15 to get 15% off automatically at your next purchase at Galls.com. Again, that's radio15. Type that in to get 15% off. And hey, they have gift cards. Hook up your family, friends, and loved ones with a new Galls gift card, and they will be your new best friends. Again, Galls.com. They pretty much have everything but guns and ammunition. If you don't know what they have, or you're not that familiar, or you haven't been to the new Galls, go there today. I think you're going to be surprised at what you see at Galls.com. All right, now it's time to talk about Compliant Technologies at CompliantTechnologies.com. And yes, Compliant Technologies, they are our satellite sponsor. And guys, we all know about the globe, but in today's world, protection goes beyond physical safety. It's about safeguarding those on the front lines from what we call hidden threats. And that's where MyTech, a division of Compliant Technologies, comes in now. They provide advanced protective solutions designed for law enforcement, corrections, and first responders. Their Eagle Protect nitrile gloves, they offer 4-hour fentanyl and saline protection, giving you peace of mind in high-risk environments. Plus, their MyShield disinfectants and sanitizers, they actually eliminate 99.9% of germs, bacteria, and viruses on contact, and they continue to kill for up to 28 days, giving you peace of mind and helping you stay protected both on and off duty. So when safety is non-negotiable, you can trust MyTech to deliver the protection that you need. Simply go to complianttechnologies.com/mytech in order to learn how to equip your team today. Again, that is complianttechnologies/MITEK, because the best defense starts with the right protection. All right, we got 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show, gentlemen. And I think we're off to a good start. Yes, Chief.
You know, one thing I had in my notes and didn't get to, this idea that we had to let people go because we don't have the detention facilities. And now there's this big outcry, you know, why do we need Alligator Alcatraz? In our community, we've got a private prison that's been empty for a few years, and ICE is looking at that. And we're have some local uproar with some protesters that are gonna planning on harassing people that work there. That's why we need more detention centers, is to, you know, if you're going to say these folks need due process, totally agree with that. Then you've got to have a safe place for them to be, safe for them, safe for their comrades, and safe for the public. So expanding the capacity for detention, I think, is really a reasonable thing to do. It's not just a crazy expansion of concentration camps like the left would have you believe.
So you want to, just to get this correctly, you want to expand it so there's room for the protesters to house them. Okay, I went a little off the reservation with that one, but it sounded good, didn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what, with the shadow of violence over some of these things, some of those guard towers are going to have to be pointed out.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And reinforce. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
It's not a good time to be an ICE agent either, man. They're getting assaulted all over the place.
It's nuts.
I bet they never saw that coming a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I want to become an ICE agent. I want to do something that's going to be safe, and I don't have to put my hands on bad guys and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And you get to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wore that when I was dancing. I don't want to talk about it. Well, okay, that's 5.
That's
all right. Back to radio. Here we go. Welcome back, Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. We're talking about our ICE guy that got, shot in New York, face and in the forearm, I believe. He's in stable condition. I hope he's going to be okay. I hope there's no serious, after effects, from what he went through. Brett, your mic's open. Did you have something that you wanted to add on that? No? Well, open up your mic since we've been listening to you clearing your throat for like the last couple of minutes and stuff. Might as well just keep it running. But no. What I was gonna ask you is just that. Let me ask you. There's some people that take this stuff very seriously. Yeah, you're lucky, Dr. Schultz, it wasn't your mic. But there's some people that take this stuff very. So let me ask you this: the what portion of Americans, and Brett, this is directed at both you guys. So open up your mic. So what portion of Americans, if you said, look, we consider this an invasion. So I'm talking about people coming illegally across the border, and this is an invasion of our country. And if you put up remote controlled armament, so you've got guns and ammo that is remotely controlled, and you offered citizens a chance to be able to man the gun and to mow down people trying to come over illegally, what percentage of Americans do you think would take you up on that offer?
I hope none.
I agree.
I hope
you don't think anybody. You don't think anybody?
Sure, of course, somebody would, because at either end of the left and right, there's the, in the spectrum, there's the absolute nutcase crazies, of course, but I wouldn't think it'd be more than a couple of thousand.
I noticed you kind of slowed down and stuttered when you came out with that figure. So okay, all right.
Yeah, even the militia type groups that are on the border that are civilians, and including property owners and contractees, we're not seeing that kind of carnival shooting. So I don't think we're quite there, and I would tremble for the nation's conscience if we got to that point.
All right. Okay.
And like I said, I'm really hoping for a restoration of a good immigration system, so that people that want to be here, want to assimilate, want to be productive, can do so. That are fleeing persecution from other places. I want that to happen again, but we just have to stabilize it so that we can get those reforms in place. And it has to ultimately be legislatively, and Congress on both sides just has not had the will to come up with a common sense piece of legislation to deal with those issues.
And you're right. That is the absolute key. It's got to be fixed legislatively. We certainly missed the boat during Trump 1.0. We had an opportunity. For 2 years, we had both houses, and we really screwed the pooch on that. And I tell you, there's absolutely no excuse if we cannot get it done, at least during this first 2 year period. We've got about a year and a half left, but it needs to be done. It needs to be solved.
And Brett's conspiracy theory about getting immigrants in so that they can vote and increase the population to increase representation in Congress, that's another one of those conspiracies that seems to makes a lot of sense, and in fact is provable, particularly when it comes to census population counting for Congress.
Yeah, I've already moved on to the next conspiracy because that one we talked about has been proven. So I'm trying to come up with a new one right now.
Okay, have you seen how many kids those Muslims are having, Brett?
I have not seen
Dude,
that. Tell us.
Yeah. Well, other countries are experiencing that as well. And of course, look, there's fanatical, Muslims. I'm not saying that they're all not, but anyhow, they have a lot of kids. Their families are huge, and so that is a concern when other countries let people with a Muslim faith come over, because maybe you're 75% Judeo-Christian or Catholicism or whatever. It may not change today. That's going to certainly change tomorrow. And we're seeing the aftermath of that. But Brett, I'm thinking about edge weapons right now, and I think you've got a Microtech product that you would like to
let me tell you what. Microtech sent me a knife. The 7BP. I know that's a lot of. Here it is. It's an out the front knife. It is probably the sturdiest knife I've ever had in my hands. It's solid. It's not light, but it's not heavy. It feels perfect. And it's got the activating device right where it needs to be. So when you pull the knife out of your pocket, your thumb is right where it needs to be, and out it comes. Very nice, very sharp, very well done. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery.
So it sounds pretty smooth. Does it stay? I guess you've got a clip on there to keep it in the pocket, and probably a glass break maybe too, or
yeah, it's got a glass break in it. It is so fast that your bandwidth can't keep up. Ready? You missed it. You missed it. There it goes. You missed it. Joel couldn't even see that. I'm going to do it again. He can't even with the eye. He can't even look at that. Can't even see it.
Okay, I love it. All right, thank you. And Microtech, fantastic product, good stuff. Now, let's go to our next topic, guys. I've been holding this one. It's the KFAA.com. Dallas Apple stores kept losing their product. Now a police officer is accused, and the affidavit says, I know, Brett used to be an internal affairs commander, so he's shaking his head. Just thank God you didn't have this case, Brett, while you were with IA. Apple security, this is Dallas, by the way, Dallas, Texas. Apple security team, they noticed that there was a trend over the last couple years. 2 years we're talking, guys. Product was disappearing from the stock rooms at the company's retail stores in Dallas, and they count variances at the Apple stores in North Park, on Knox Street, and in Galleria. They were deemed, quote, exceptionally high. And this is among the top 10 of all Apple stores in the company, according to an arrest warrant affidavit. So that's kind of like reading a statement from a coroner, because someone's automatically, dead. You got an arrest warrant, someone's going to be going to jail over this stuff. So the security team's investigation led them to a Dallas police officer. And I'm sorry, I got to slow it down because we got a commercial break coming up. But yeah, we got a Dallas cop in a world of hurt because of something stupid that he did. He did it for a couple of years, it looks like. We're going to cover this. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're going to want to hear this. We'll be right back. All right, guys, introducing Aero Defense by Aero Precision at aeroprecisionusa.com, a beacon of durability, dependability, and all-American craftsmanship in the realm of duty rifles, and yes, We're talking about Scott's favorite subject, long guns. They're born from an aerospace engineering company, so you know these guys know what they're doing. And Aero Defense by Aero Precision demands perfection because selling for anything less is not an option when your life is on the line. Visit aeroprecisionusa.com for a lineup that matches every discipline because they basically have something for everybody. And you know, since 1994, they've been quietly leading the AR builder parts domain, but now they're making waves in the complete rifle arena with Solus bolt actions. And that's not all. The M4A1 Pro and the Mod 4 handguards, they already hit the market at aeroprecisionusa.com, the embodiments of duty rifle excellence, but they're now being tailored for the civilian customer. That means that now you guys can start getting your hands on the primo stuff. And they also have the M5 AR 3-weight platform. So don't settle for less when you can have the best. Head over to aeroprecisionusa.com. All right, we got 4 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And I feel like, when I do things that perfectly, like that, like what I just did with that script, I feel like I should memorialize that and like do it like a little intro, every week on the show.
Sure, Chip. You know what I've always said?
I feel very good about that.
If you can't impress yourself, you cannot ever impress anybody else. You got to start with you. So good for you.
Oh, thank God I'm easy to impress.
Yeah. Oh, you're just.
It doesn't take a lot.
Never failed to impress myself.
Brad, you could put me in a freaking padded room alone by myself for hours on end. That's what my mom used to do, and it worked. Yeah. There's been no after effects from that.
I got it. Feed you every other day.
Hey, what would it have been like to work for Chief Schultz? What do you think?
No
you
way.
Couldn't,
no way.
Couldn't ask for a better boss.
Yeah.
I think I would have ended up with a desk job, Brett. What are you thinking?
When I was a captain, my motto was, "What have you done for me today?" What do you think, Joel? Is that a pretty good one?
Well, that's not in my pending book on leadership. That's not
Okay.
That's not one of the mottos.
All right. So, here's another one. I don't know what you people do, but do more of it. That's another good one I used to use.
That's another one I'm going to give some thought to.
Okay.
Chip, have you thought about reaching out to Gillette to get a razor sponsorship?
I was thinking the same thing.
That hurts. You guys know that it took me decades to be able to have facial hair growth, and now I can, and I'm enjoying it at this time in my life. It's very unusual, and I couldn't do it before. But
one word, homeless. What are you thinking, Joe? Homeless.
Well, I'm a little disappointed he didn't notice that I don't have my beard like I had for the last couple of shows.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I just got a stubble. It just got to be so much maintenance. I thought I might as well get a cat if I'm going to have to pay this much attention to something every day. Yeah,
just all that hair. Yeah, I never had a hair issue except maybe on my back. But anyway, I'll show you that one day, Chip. I'll just take my shirt off and turn around.
Okay, Brett's got 5 traumas now. I have 1.
Okay, all right. Wow. I can get that up there real quick.
Hey, so let me just say that we are doing the $50 Galls gift card giveaway, and I'd like to make the announcement on the next commercial break. So if you haven't won one in the last 60 days, all you have to do is type in the word Galls, that is GALLS, and give us your email address. That's the I need to be able to email it to you. It's a digital card. So please do that. FLG man just typed in, hey, he gave a little donation earlier. So thank you, FLG man, for the donation. We appreciate it. But if you guys are interested in the free Galls gift card giveaway, just type in the word Galls and give us your email address. And thanks in advance for entering the contest, guys. We got about a minute left before we come back to the radio portion of the show too. So
what'd you do, Chip? Start a GoFundMe?
A GoFundMe?
Yeah,
you're getting donations now?
Oh, no. That's just, no. Of course, I don't know if a $2 razor could cut through this or not. No, it's not much. Dude, I don't even have to groom or anything. This is like weeks of growth. Are you kidding me? It still takes a while to get there, but it gets there eventually.
Show your shaver again.
Yeah. Here, Chip, come on. Let me come over and help you out with that.
A little hot and foamy and that thing, and you're good to go.
Ooh, that was my dancer name, Hot and Foamy. That's what it was. Thanks.
2.
That hurts. That hurts. All right.
Oh, stop it.
I love it. All right. Well, look, we're 17 seconds out from coming back, and I can't wait to get back to the story. It's going to be a good one. So I'm going to start the music, guys.
Hurry.
Put your seatbelts on. Here we go. Welcome back to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host. We are joined by Chief Joel Schultz and Captain Brett Bartlett. So thanks for being on the show, gentlemen. Hey, we left off talking about a pretty fascinating story. Dallas Apple stores kept losing their product, and now a police officer is accused, according to an affidavit, which is not a good sign for the cop. So I left off talking about the security team's investigation. It led them to a Dallas police officer. So Senior Corporal LaChow, who was arrested earlier this month, he is accused of stealing $37,000 in merchandise while working in an off-duty capacity overnight at the Apple stores, according to the affidavit, which was obtained by WFAA on Thursday. Now, remember, this happened over a couple-year period, so I would imagine you could move $37,000 worth of merchandise, but it gets kind of crazy. The affidavit said that Chow in March was seen on surveillance footage concealing items in his Dallas police jacket, then leaving the store with fully loaded duffel bags of product. And look, that's just one instance. They've got a ton of video footage. It describes all kinds of stuff he was doing. It just made my stomach turn because it's just a bad image for cops. The investigation was initiated by Apple's security team. They did a jam-up job after they noticed a series of missing product from stock rooms at Apple stores in Dallas, including the Knox Street location and North Park and Galleria. Now, the Apple security team then installed covert cameras that captured our off-duty cop Chow stealing merchandise. Now, the Apple security team, they also provided police screenshots from, this is where it gets good, screenshots from Chow's wife's Facebook page showing that she was selling Apple products through Facebook Marketplace, according to the affidavit. And it said that Chow had been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the IA investigation. And I'm kind of surprised they're doing that when there's before the criminal charges are anyhow. Chow has worked for the Dallas Police Department since 2013 and was assigned to the department's basic academy. I don't know what that kind of says about his police capabilities. I am surprised that he was placed on admin leave pending the outcome of an IA investigation because, Brett, typically the criminal is going to be done first and then the IA. So there's no jeopardy of coming up with stuff that not supposed to make it onto the criminal side because you're certainly privy to some stuff administratively that you're not privy to on the criminal side. But Brett, I know your mic's going to have to open for this one. Yes, sir. What do you think about this one?
I'd have to say, officer, you have been investigated and you found guilty of first degree stupid. So you're going to have to, you know what? We're just going to kill you. It's just, you're not allowed to live. Chip, in my day, I've been guilty of calling people names. I've been guilty of giving a punch maybe when it wasn't deserved, but to cross the ethical lines, there's something wrong in his head. There was something wrong before he became a police officer. They didn't catch it, and all of a sudden it manifested itself in an opportunity, and he took advantage of. But it's just, he's an idiot. It's almost not worth discussing. He's an idiot.
There's some guys that could come to me when I worked with the union, and I was a rep for a short while. You can work on exit strategy sometimes. You have no chance for exit strategy unless maybe you're getting him involved in work when he gets out of prison, Chief Schultz.
Well, a couple of things disturbing about this. First of all, that he doesn't know that cops routinely look at eBay and Facebook Marketplace for stolen property. That's, 101. Secondly, that he was assigned to the academy. The academy ought to be the best of the best, just like school resource officers ought to be, super sharp and have lots of things going for them. But I'm afraid so many times these are like, let's get them off the streets for Pete's sake and put them someplace where they can't do any damage. Well, I feel bad about that. The presumption of innocence belongs to judges and juries, and I'm with Brett. This guy needs to go away. I'm going to come up a little short from capital punishment, but something short of that. And I want to ask you this, Chip, since you've done UC work, you had to do some type of integrity testing, right? Didn't you have to go through some polygraph and that kind of stuff?
No,
while you were in the field. And so the follow-up question is,
no.
The follow-up question is, why don't we do ongoing integrity testing even if it's paper pencil, have you been involved in any illegal activity? Have you been involved in any unlawful or illicit relationships? And just, every year have somebody fill out that form, bring it to their mind. Plus, at the very least, you've got, you've lied on a form, and that's good enough to get you canned or disciplined. So that's maybe a topic for other discussion. I don't know if anybody does that, but
other than a federal agency, I'm not aware of anyone in the country.
I think it's a reasonable idea, but the union would flip over backwards. They just wouldn't allow it. But that was my first thought. I kind of like these, like in the FBI, all those guys that were spying for the Russians worked for the FBI. They went through one test and that was it. Just there should be an ongoing thing. Some agencies, their IA does proactive tests like that, but Tampa never ever did. We just didn't have the time or the manpower. But you go through the polygraph one time before you become a policeman, and you never have to do it again.
But I got to say that even as great as an agency Tampa is, and Brett, when you get promoted, you don't have there is a issue, and it's not just isolated to Tampa. They don't train you how to be a detective. And I mean, whether you're doing latent investigation or whether you're doing drugs, when you're doing the stuff that Brett and I did, I mean, really, there's, you have to invent your own system of accountability in a lot of things. And Brett and I certainly did that when we were doing strip clubs.
It wasn't thrust upon it. We just decided between us that we would never go anywhere without each other, just so that we would be able to maintain that. And not that we needed it, but we just wanted to get, just circumvent it, I guess is a good word. But, have you stolen anything this year? Have you punched anybody? The union would explode with something.
It'll never happen. Yeah.
I've never dealt with unions. That's foreign territory to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right or wrong, I would expect them. And you know what? I got to admit, if I was still working for the union, I would oppose it. It would be great things associated with it. But again, we're saying that polygraphs are not strong enough to be able to use in court, to be able to, to rely cases on bad guys if we polygraph them. I use it as an investigative tool many times as a detective. But now we're going to be taking that same tool that's not acceptable in court, and we're going to use it against cops and maybe get them booted out of their job, their agency, or whatever. I don't see it happen. But
I'll never take another polygraph. I wouldn't put officers through that routinely. It's like mental rape.
Well, good.
Now, Chip, ain't that the truth?
Good
without flowers or anything afterwards. We actually, and I was we did one test, but we had a complaint. And we set up an event, and the officer was fined. He didn't do what the person said he had been doing, so it was good. So that was one time we actually set it up, but not randomly. It was, we had a reason to be doing it.
Right. Now,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, now an officer can always come to you and say, I'm being accused of this or that. I want to voluntarily take a polygraph. An officer can always do that. I've done it. I've seen it done to where they'll do that and they'll go through their union attorney, and that way the results of it are not subpoenable. You can't give it out unless the union voluntarily gives you the results of that polygraph. So that way he's kind of like, that's the safest way to do it. So let's just say that it comes back bad, or it's not positive, it's not negative, it's I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But
unfounded, neutral.
But there's a word where sometimes it won't show a positive or negative, for truthfulness. It's just,
got it. I know you're talking.
But anyhow, that won't make it out unless you voluntarily release it if you go through the unit. So I have seen that done. Heck, I've done that with an investigation before, and I've done that through my union to protect myself. But so there are options. Final words, Chief?
But I know a lot of departments, well, not a lot, but some departments will have, computerized database of complaints and use of force, and they can notice patterns and maybe kind of do preemptive. But it seems like that IA, and I know, it's a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, is always reactive and not proactive in continuing to inculcate ethics and honesty and integrity, as a pervasive value. We just kind of assume that all these guys and gals are going to be doing the right thing all the time for the right reasons. But there's a lot of study been done on the reasons for corruption, and be curious to pick this guy's brain and see, did he feel the privilege? Was it just opportunistic? Did he feel like he wasn't getting paid enough? And so, or, that Apple is such a big outfit that it doesn't matter. Those kind of things deserve continued study for prevention.
I agree with that. That we never, once we find the guy guilty, we don't go into the well. Now, I would ask them before they swore in, because I know all these people. It's not like they're strangers to me. I would go, "What were you thinking?" Now, raise your right hand. That's over with. Raise your right hand.
Yeah, I love it. Well, guys, coming up on our third commercial break. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, guys, it's time to talk about GunLearn at gunlearn.com. And as law enforcement officers, we deal with guns every day, but it's what we don't know about them that gets us in the trouble. Injuries, civil lawsuits, accidental discharges, misidentifications, lost prosecutions, and even disciplinary issues. But gunlearn.com, they have your back. You can quickly become extremely firearm knowledgeable by simply learning 14 training modules from the convenience of your home or your office, or by attending the live seminar at gunlearn.com. You can also become a safe, accurate, and competent certified firearm specialist like our very own Captain Brett Bartlett here and attorney Ken Afianco. Now, the courses had huge success in raising the bar of firearm knowledge, and GunLearn has been a trusted source since 2011 by gun manufacturers, federal agencies, forensic organizations, and police departments nationwide. Now, the founder, Daniel Kelly's got a deal for you. If you have your own agency, if you're a chief or sheriff, you can actually host a seminar for absolutely no cost. It's a fantastic opportunity. You can go to gunlearn.com to get more information. Again, that is gunlearn.com. All right, guys, 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And I am going to check and see whether we have enough entrants to do that free $50 Galls gift card giveaway. So I'm looking. And I'm looking. We may have to make this a 24-hour giveaway because I don't see enough entries for the Galls gift card giveaway. So look, if you're watching the show, you can either type it in, and I'm gonna make it a 24-hour giveaway. So you can email me at chipdeblock@gmail.com and enter it that way by simply just typing in and typing the word Galls. I'll have your email address because you're emailing me. Or you can enter it on Rumble, on YouTube, and LinkedIn, and all the major networks and Facebook. And you can enter that way as well. We'll make it a 24-hour giveaway. So that means 24 hours after this show airs, you'll be able to enter the contest still. So anyhow, it's a good opportunity. What a way to get the week going.
Chip, you're going to ask me what Exumbra means?
I'm glad you reminded me. Yes. How did you come up with the name Exumbra?
Well, I was looking for a name for my new business as I was retired, and I thought, well, it could be Brett's Guns or Brett's Invest, something really. But I came up with Exumbra. Exumbra, the actual saying in Latin is Ex Umbra and Solum, which basically means out of the shadows and into the light. And I thought that sounds pretty cool, but that'd be too much for a business card, so I cut it down to Exumbra.
Okay. All right. I like, because I noticed
the first app, Out of the Shadows.
And even on LinkedIn, I had to type in X space Umbra space, and then your business shows up too.
And it makes people ask me, hey, what does this mean? So it engenders a conversation.
It worked.
Yep.
I love good marketing. You're a genius. All right, here we go. Back to radio.
I impressed myself.
Welcome back, Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host. We're joined by Chief Joel Schultz and Captain Brett Bartlett. And just at the end of the show, if you guys heard it, Brett said something that he did something to himself that actually sounded like a word like he wet on himself. But I think maybe you said impressed instead of the other word I'm thinking about. I couldn't tell. It was so close together.
You got a 50-50 shot at that one right there.
And notice I was careful how I worded that. Thank you, FCC, for watching our show. So anyhow, you got to love it. Any what is that, 3? I'll look at the chief. He's giving me fingers now.
Third trauma.
Third trauma. Okay, third trauma. Any other commentary, guys, before we move on? Are you guys ready? Am I going too fast for you guys?
Good to go.
Brett, Brett's ready. All right, here we go. So look, our next, well, look, I've been waiting to cover this story. We got a couple stories with video components. So at rumble.com, our favorite law enforcement video channel called This Is Butter, we have a video showing teenagers robbing a detective, an on-duty detective, at gunpoint during an undercover operation. This can happen. It's happened to me when you do undercover work. We're in Riverview, Florida, and this is Hillsborough County. I live within Hillsborough County. A Hillsborough County sheriff's detective was involved in an armed robbery during an undercover operation where detectives were attempting to buy THC vape pens, marijuana, and oxy, according to the investigators. So the video shows the robbery at the Reflections apartment complex. Sounds like a very nice place to me, Brett. In Riverview, as the suspects demanded cash and they showed their guns, pressing them against the detective's body. Now, when you're watching you got a video going inside the car, and it's looking out past the undercover detective to the open driver's window where he's dealing with these two thugs. And sure enough, in fact, I'll give you it's a short video. It's only like a minute and a half long, but at the 51-second mark out of a minute and a half long video, at 51 seconds, that's where this thing goes south. And these guys all of a sudden pull out these guns and they put them in his face. He's got his hand out saying, no, man, no. He ends up getting out of the car. And just trying to do whatever he had to in order to make these guys happy so they won't shoot him. So it's a robbery. They demand cash. They show their guns, press them against his body. After the robbery, they hop in his car. He gets out of his car. They hop in on both sides, driver's side, passenger side, and they can't get the car started. So they bail out of the car. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister, who we all know, Brett and I know, said that his detective is lucky to be alive. I agree. In a split second, Chad says that this incident could have ended in tragedy. The fact that our detective walked away unharmed is nothing short of a miracle. You're on it, Chad. You got it. HCSO later identified a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. They're given the name of the 18-year-old as Christopher Samuels as the two people in the video. The third suspect, Cedrian Davis, 18, he was the getaway driver. And they have surveillance video showing him picking up Cole and Samuels shortly after the robbery. The 17-year-old was tracked down and arrested at his residence in Tampa, and Samuels was arrested in Auburndale. And the 17-year-old, the young one, has extensive criminal history, including 26 prior felony arrests and 10 misdemeanor arrests, and an active juvenile pickup order at the time of the incident. So has this guy not been adjudicated, Brett? I mean, an active juvenile pickup order. Are you freaking serious?
They used to do it all the time. We'd have these kids with these multiple felonies, and it was like they're out of detention before we're done writing the report. Now, what I like to find out is, and they probably have it, is what's the origin of that Glock they had in their hands? Where did it come from? Was it stolen? And if so, from where? Did somebody buy it in a straw purchase? I always like to find that out. Now, it used to be this, because, and hopefully it's changed, that we couldn't charge a kid with felon in possession because they hadn't been convicted. They have been found delinquent. Now, I don't know if that's still true in Florida. Hope that changed, but back in those days, we just had to let them walk on the gun.
Wow, interesting stuff. Well, guys, if you're ready, we got a second one coming up here then. So the next one is going to be at rumble.com. This is Butter. Dash cam shows New Mexico State trooper fatally shooting Jesus Rubio during a traffic stop. Now, this time we're in Hobbs, New Mexico. Las Cruces guy kills an officer I guess was killed in an officer involved shooting in Hobbs, New Mexico. This happened on Monday evening, according to New Mexico State Police. Now, the guy is identified as a 28-year-old Jesus Rubio. The department said the two officers, they're doing a traffic stop, and Rubio, our bad guy, does not initially pull over. He eventually pulls over, though, and he opens up his driver's door, and they tell him, hey, look, stay in the vehicle. Remember, we got two cops, one on the driver and the other on the passenger side, but our bad guy ignores the commands, of course, because he's a bad guy, right? And he exits the car, but he's got his right hand behind his back after he exits. New Mexico State Police said that our bad guy, they're giving these guy commands, and they're telling them to show us, what was it like? Show us your hand. In fact, let me go to my quote here, because Brett always says this. So the guy standing there with his right hand behind his back, refusing orders to stay in his car, exit his right hand hidden behind his back. At 126, one trooper says, "Let's see your hands." And the suspect complies by quickly pointing. And I actually put his firearm, but there was no gun. It was just his hands. But even I, watching the video, thought that he pointed a gun at them, and they light him up. They each hit him. They each fire at least one shot. He goes down and ends up dying. And there's actually some post footage of the shoot where they approach this guy, and this guy's done. He's done. So that's the way it goes down. Brett, you want to start us off on this one too?
Well, let's go to the very end when he falls to the ground and the officer goes up. It looks to me like the bad guy had his hand in a gun configuration, just like this. I don't know if you noticed that or not. I would have taken a million pictures of that right there. So if something happens, I can go, well, see, there it is. I've never seen that before. But you give somebody an order to show their hands. Yeah. Sometimes you get what you expect. I think it would be better to tell that guy, again, orders don't work, but sometimes they work. Stop, don't move. Turn to your left, keep your hand behind your back where it is right now. Turn to your left, do it now. And then you're building up the totality of the circumstances. If the guy now refuses, yeah, I think he gives you a better case. But I would have done what he did too. When that guy came out with that hand pointing out at me with that hand in that configuration, I'm okay with that. I just worry about officers demanding, and they just yell, hands, hands, hands. What does that mean? And if I do show you my hands, am I going to get shot for doing it?
I got to say that, and watch the video, and I'm assuming that the sound and the audio, the video and the audio were synced together. But these guys got shots off fast. These two cops. I was so impressed, Chief Schultz, with how fast they got the shots off.
Yeah, sometimes you hear about, why they have to shoot so many times, or, it's clear that each officer, and this is almost always true, sometimes you think, oh, I shot because he shot. That's each officer has to make an independent decision based on what they perceived reasonably. And so they both thought, oh my gosh, this is a guy. And I think this is, should be in a slideshow of, I have to explain to people what a slide is, but in some training video clips, because that body language, that's not the way a person normally gets out of a car to see what's going on. And so they read that very accurately, and I don't think anybody can fault it. And unlike you, I was surprised there was no gun. I thought surely there's a gun in there somewhere. He did all the things that you'd expect. I was impressed with their slowing down and not approaching. They had backup coming, which New Mexico State Police doesn't always have, but they were in hubs, so they did. That backup coming. I thought EMS got there a little too soon. They probably should have staged a little bit until everybody was cuffed up and stabilized. I was worried about whether there was somebody else in the car. I think they went ahead and made commands, which is good in case there was anybody there. And let's see, there was one other thing. Yeah. I thought their coordination was great. I've heard you guys talk about the shots fired. Why, sometimes that really doesn't accomplish anything, but they were like shots fired, suspect down, cops are okay. I think that's a great way to handle that for dispatch sake and others. So tactically, I thought it was pretty solid, and I think that's going to be a clean shoot, and good job. And those guys, right. New Mexico State Police they're tough.
Yeah, I was impressed. All right, we covered two good video component stories, so thank you guys so much. Big thank you to Chief Joel Schultz for being on the show, and also Captain Brett Bartlett. You two work very well together, and another great show. Thank you to our listeners for watching the show, and we really appreciate your support. I do want to mention the Wounded Blue, though, at the woundedblue.org, Lieutenant Randy Sutton's 501c3 that's helping cops out in the world of hurt that are suffering from things like PTSD and other issues. So if you haven't checked them out lately, please go to the Wounded Blue at the woundedblue.org. Chief Schultz, books. What do you got? What do you got today? And what do you got going on?
If you want to help your local police department, get this for $15. I'm not making any money off of this. This is great for them to have in their squad room, in the bathroom. It's an easy read, daily readings, and I think they'll appreciate it.
SchultzCo@gmail.com, a shout goals.com, complianttechnologies.com, aeroprecisionusa.com. We have Gunlearn, My Medicare, Safeguard Recruiting, Two Bells, and FisherLandoBass.com. And thanks for watching the show, guys. We'll look for you back tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern, leahroundtable.com. And we're going to keep it going for like another minute and a half. So what was the title of that book again? Can you hold that up one more time, Chief?
It's called Forward I Go. There are some things in there, mostly my stuff, but some photographs and poems and other things written by Dan Duran. He retired as a captain out of Trinidad, Colorado. He's kind of a prolific, artsy kind of guy. So I think people would enjoy it.
I love it. I love it. So SchultzCo@gmail.com.
Yeah, just and I'll take it from there. Get a street address and tell you how to PayPal or Venmo and worst case scenario, just email me. I'll send you one. I'm not making any money off of this deal.
Wow,
it's on Amazon too, if anybody wants to get it.
Yeah. And Brett, I know that why don't you hold up some of your books that you've written, Brett?
That's pretty hurtful. Because I'm dyslexic.
I'm sorry. I look at the Chief and I didn't think that he was, when he smiled, it encouraged me and it made me know that I can get away with this stuff now when he's on the show.